with sacred reassignment, it's going to feel like a loss, but realistically, it's your solar observation relocating you into what you knew you had to be aligned with. And the alignment that you want to be with is the reason why you're going where you had to go. And a lot of times there may be an eerie feeling to where you're about to go, you don't know how to make up what it's supposed to be, because it's a difference. And as you can see, I got my car packed up, heading over to a different classroom basically. And that's basically really how I've seen intuitively where this next chapter is going to lead me, and also my sibling who's driving in front of me as well. And but that's the thing as well, because when you're assigned to do something, you have already told yourself in the future where you will be before you even get to where you're being. Because where you're being for today isn't where you want to go for tomorrow or the next day, and so on and so forth, because it'll get played out after a while. Which is why when you are moving to a different classroom, never feel comfortable with where you think you're supposed to be in that moment, because the moment is just telling you what the script sees you doing and sees you being for the time being. But currently, what can you do to help yourself find out what it is that you have to do to where now you can maintain a lifestyle that you have put so much effort, so much discipline in? Everything that you're doing makes sense. When you constantly keep working hard, when you constantly keep talking to yourself about what you're going to accomplish and how you will do it, you don't sit there and tell yourself, okay, I'm going to chase the things that I feel are going to make me become this or help me do that or get me to no. When you told yourself before you came, I have to figure out what I need to do as a man or a woman, spiritually, you understand to yourself like, okay, I know that when I become this subconscious interpretation, I'm not going to hold on to that. So I'm just going to watch myself playing my own acts. All right, if you're playing with the act, what is it going to act upon? You have to be able to now make the actions come true by the work that you do. And when you're doing the work, how are you feeling? And I'm saying that because as I'm transitioning right now into a different classroom, I feel better. I feel so relieved of all different burdens that a lot of people didn't really get to see. And it feels nice to just have, a lot of my clothes, my board behind me, my TV, my game, my just food, all these different things in my car, to where this location that I'm going to, it just shows that anybody else can do it as well. It's not hard. We just make it hard because that's how bad we want to play with our desires in the game. Because a lot of times people complicate things because they're chasing after something. And that's the problem right there. When people expect to be somewhere in life and they don't meet their expectations, what comes about to their mind? They're now replaying where they could be, to where the ego's going to say to them, ha, you can't be where you want to be. And if they're not strong enough to laugh at the ego mocking itself, then they're not going to be able to have their laugh when they're enjoying the fruits of their labor. Because that's the thing right there. In order to have that laugh with yourself, you have to be able to now sit with yourself and say, damn, I can reflect back on what I did and look at what I did for myself. Exactly. Look at what you did for yourself. So why put so much harsh judgment upon you? Have you not realized what you've been doing? Have you not seen the progress that you made since you first started? That's where the alignment comes in. The alignment comes in because you're being focused, and then not only just that, my favorite thing of all time, being still. When you're focused in stillness, that's where you're able to find the keys into unlocking different dimensions that you can literally live within. You're already living within these realms, but in order to see that future in a quantum ideology, you had to now be able to shift in that perspective. To shift in that perspective, you had to relocate your what? Your spirit. You had to relocate your viewpoint on life. If you see your life, you being this character, you channeling different energies, okay, where can you put that energy that you're receiving into being heightened for you to know what you had to do to get to that financial freedom, or to get to that spiritual freedom, or to be so comfortable in a different environment to where it feels so different. And that's what's weird about the differences in a whole new realm. When something is new, the ego is just like, man, I don't know if I like this. I want to go back to what I'm used to. No. Because before, ego, you wanted to make a way out of a situation. But now, when the situation is at hand, you want to hide under the covers and then put a pillow on top of your head and just say, I'm going to lay here and just sleep it off because I don't want to get to the future. No, that's holding you back. By you saying, or not even just saying, by you even thinking of fear, by you even thinking as if what you're doing doesn't make sense, that's why it's not making sense, because you don't want it to make sense. If you want to make sense out of a life that's never going to make sense to you, you gotta take that leap of faith. And what are you having faith in when faith has no image to see? So if you can't put an image towards the faith that you should be seeing, what should you be seeing? If you're the painter of your life, what are you going to create? Once you start creating your life, now you get to start seeing how you can teach yourself and so creating different paths that will get you to better opportunities, because you are communicating with your highest self. Because your highest self is already seeing, you know what? It's time for you to relocate. Because a lot of times people will sit in their environment for so long, even after they graduate high school, or if they don't graduate high school. But once that hallmark happens for them, they stamp that bookmark and they stay on that page forever. It's like, eventually, do you not want to continue to read the pages of your book? Some people don't choose to because they don't want to read. They don't want to read what they think could happen. But what they know is happening for them requires them to work harder and change what they used to do. But when you're doing a habit for so long that you were raised into doing and it became second nature, your nature does not want to let go of itself. That's why you have to be able to let go of what's holding you down, and that's basically your thoughts. When your thoughts stop holding themselves down according to you, you can now figure out where it is you and your mind has to go, because you have to lead your body at this point. Your body is following what was already predetermined. That's fine. But if you're born blind, how do you know where you are seeing? Or how do you know where you're going if you can't even see where you're about to go? And if you can't see where you're about to go, what should you do? You tell yourself, I don't know where I'm going. So basically, it smells like burnt tires, and it smells like somebody, oh my God. Sorry, y'all. That shit's crazy. Who the fuck's been, oh, sorry about that, guys. Oh my God, that shit stinks. Okay, but it's where I'm going. I have no idea what's about to happen, but I had this strange feeling. But that's the reason why I'm enjoying what that vibration is, because I understand now that the energy inside of me, this whole entire time from 2020 till now, when I graduated college in 2022, came back, and I didn't really know what it was after basketball besides this. But then I said to myself too, logically, we can't always depend on social media, because in my head, you never really know when social media may just fall off as an entirety, because we can't sit here and expect social media just to always hold us up whenever we feel down on ourselves. No, because if social media was gone today and you had to go out into the world and find a skill to be valuable in this world, what would you do? What would you work for? Who would you work for? How would you work for yourself? Because to work for yourself, you got to find some skills. So what is that? That's why this alignment that I'm driving upon right now is making sense to the blueprint because the blueprint was already laid out. All I'm doing right now, I'm looking at the blueprint and I'm just following the order that I already ordered myself into seeking out. And the thing is too, to seek out that blueprint and what it looks like. I know somebody's like, a blueprint, what does that look like? It has no mirroring to see. In order to see your blueprint, you have to be able to lay it out and then map it out. Not only just map it out, you're now contacting the deities that gave you that predestined script that you're watching, because life is the movie. And if life is the movie, what are you producing? What are you going to direct? What are you going to start acting in? Because remember, you are the actor in this movie that you watch yourself play in. So when you're now going into a different realm where you can just play with the energy, what will you do now? Because that's what I'm asking myself. When I told my mom and all that, before I left, I was just like, me and my brother, when we come back, things are going to be different, and you may not understand what I'm saying, but I'm telling you, shit's going to be different this go around, because me and my brother, we in the same predicament. Only difference is he's 7 years younger than me, but me and him both wanted to leave college, but we ended up finishing and all that, and he wanted to give up, but now he's going back. And he went back before because he just said, working a 9 to 5, this is not it. And I told him before he went to college, you want to make sure that you don't end up in that predicament to where you're sitting at the edge of your bed saying, man, this can't be my life. And there's some people who are okay with that type of lifestyle, not me. That's why when you are a risk taker, you can bet on yourself. And when you bet on yourself, you will have a guaranteed progression in your life that will show you that you were meant to succeed because you took a chance on yourself. And when you exude confidence every single day with where you're going, life won't let you down. At this point, I feel as if the future is holding my hand. And I know that sounds it won't make sense to somebody who's new to the reflection of this channel, but what I'm saying is, right now, I understand in my nature, in my subconscious terrain realm of my memory that I'm dreaming about. I understand that in my dreams, I'm the dreamer leading myself in the dreams that I've already seen before. So everything in this life I've already said before, already made a teaching on, I've already did this, already did that. So everything you're seeing is it's a thought that's already happened before. So all we're doing is just sitting with the past. But how can that past help build for a better future? Because that future, it has to be recognizable. For it to be recognizable, we have to be healthy-minded. That's why with clarity, there is no stressing over what's about to happen next. I'm not worried about what I'm going to eat today. I'm not worried about how things will go. No, I'm going to go with the flow because I create that flow. If I'm at the beach right now and I'm watching the tide going in and out, I basically had to ask myself, whenever life isn't going my way, how can I let the flow of life not, what's the word I'm looking for? So I make sure too this thing is right. How can I make sure the flow of life is not altering my mood? How can I make sure it's not altering the way I see myself or the way I see a situation? With all the things that I'm doing, I gotta make sure that I can take care of not only just my sibling, but myself as well, because now it's time to be a man. And that's exactly what I truly wanted. I wanted that prosperity to where as a man, I can look back on these moments and think to myself, bro, you took a chance on yourself and you won't regret it. And this goes for anybody out there. If you are going to college, if you are getting a new job, you're going into a new classroom for school, you're going into a new family, you're meeting a new girlfriend, new boyfriend, whatever, sit with that feeling and understand too, it's okay to be nervous. It's okay to be anxious. It's okay to be timid. It's okay to be all these different things because you're enjoying the human experience. And that's really what it's all about when it comes to mastery, because as an ascended being, for ascension and mastery, we have to we have to come back to the human experience to do one thing again. We have to master the nature that was already mastered in nature, because nature has already mastered itself. but how will you master yourself? If you sit outside with nature and you just listen, there isn't really much noise besides ignorance, and that comes with cars, ambulance, people, horns, planes, all these different programmings that do not exist. But that's the memory holder right there. We place different illusions or different songs that we become restless to. And that's why too, going into this country, because I'm about to be like 2 hours away from the city and all that, but being in the country is just going to help me understand, because I already went to, so if you're familiar with my journey, this is basically, so I went to South Georgia Technical College when I was 18. I went to Cowley Community College in Kansas. I went to New Mexico Highlands University, and then now I'm going to Columbus State. So by me going to these different schools, I'm gonna be in the country again, but it's still no different. This is the same exact circus act for me. So all I understand is now I didn't bring my iPad with me because I got the MacBook, and it's strictly just business. We getting to work. We getting to work because niggas got rent, and I'm really excited about that because I was always paying bills, paying rent and all that. But remember too, I was on scholarship, so I didn't really have to worry about that work life or when my next meal is going to be. And the thing is too, even with this time period, I don't have to worry about that either, because I know there'll be one person out there who's willing to want to cook for me, and my brother as well, and our other roommate. But that's not the whole entire point. But be willing to collaborate with people. Be willing to network, because I understand, I've been told so many different things of what to expect when I get here from other spiritual guys that I've been talking to in the past. And I understand that when I do meet these people, it's going to be for a reason. It's going to be in a different alignment. And the thing is too, always staying true to yourself. And this goes with anything. When you meet new people, never go against yourself. Never ever go against what you normally do. Never go against who you always been, even before you met them. Don't change up to make other people feel comfortable. Forget their comfortability. If you're not comfortable with being who you are, and if they can accept that, walk away from the situation. Remember, this life is about you. You gotta do what you gotta do for you, because when it comes to you, people don't care until it's popular to do so. And then when it's popular, all of a sudden people start caring. Where was that attention at when nobody paid attention? Now you want to pay attention because it's normal to do so? That's weird. But you have to expect that when you think differently. And we don't have to overcomplicate the thoughts too, because I realize as well, a lot of times on this journey, when I make a video, before I make it, I seal my thoughts and I tell myself, man, that thought sound good, but I don't know. Now it's like I'm going against myself. I gotta stop doing that. Stop overthinking it so much and just post a video. As you can see what I'm doing right now, I was just sitting here driving. I'm like, you know what? I got 2 hours. Let me go ahead and just make a video. Why not? And that's really why, to anybody out there, you're going to go through a sacred reassignment, because remember, you had to go into a different classroom. Remember, this realm that we're in, to me, all right, let's paint a picture. I see life as like a bucket or a toilet bowl. If you can go outside your body and you can picture consciousness descending, it has no form, by the way, but if you pay attention, consciousness will descend into this realm, put itself into a body, so where now the birth giver or the carrier of this entity, this specimen that's satanic in nature, but godly spiritually, when this being comes out, is conceived, now this being has to be able to interpret the world around itself. Because the being is already outside the world. It's not within the world. It's just dreaming in the world that it decided to come back to. When you understand why you came back here, that's where now you had to change classes. Have you ever been to class where you just been chilling doing your work? And the thing is too, you may be smart as hell. A lot of times when you get reassigned to a class, it's probably because for one, you're smart, or a lot of times you probably got in trouble, or something just happened with the system. But you're kicking it with your friends, you're doing your work, everything's cool, you're comfortable. But then a counselor, a principal, or a teacher comes and says, hey, so-and-so, call me real quick and get your stuff. Where am I going? Oh, you're going to a new class. Whole new environment, whole new people, whole new IQs, whole new thinking pattern, whole new personality, whole new emotions. You have to be okay with that. And it's going to be weird. And I understand that for myself as well. It's going to be weird, but that's why I had to make it work. Because my inner child wants to go back, to being comfortable, to being in that nest, and the thing is too, when I was younger, I always thought of these moments because I would tell myself, I'm enjoying being 5 or 7 or 10 or 12 or 13, 14, 15. I would say, damn, when I get to be 20, 25, 27, 28, 29, 30, how would that life be? And then it's just like, when you reach these moments, all you're racing against now is death. That's why every moment you get when you're older, you have to make it count. You have to make it count. And use the opportunities that you're in, use them as a lesson or a stepping stool. Do not think that where you're working at or the school system that you're in, because if you think about it, if you're watching me, you're either in school, college, or you're working. That's it. That's the basics of life anyway. If you're in those different things, don't see it as a burden, because it's boring, it's tiresome, it's a drag. No, shout out to Shikamaru, by the way, but it's a drag, literally. But when you drag yourself through it, and when you push past that barrier that's wanting to hold you back, your mom and dad can't save you. All you have is your own saving. Now I really get to understand how to save myself. If something happens to the car, I gotta figure it out. Something happens with the bills, utilities, electricity, gotta figure it out. Food. There'll be some nights I'm used to fasting, so going a night or 2 nights with no food, fuck it is what it is. That should make me become more hungrier. And I won't sit here and say as I'm gonna be starving, because I know there's just with the law of compensation, the simulation always gives back to me. I don't know how, but I'll never be stressing over that. And also on top of that too, I have a new opportunity as well for another job. It's part-time as well for same exact, camp counseling. I ain't gonna say what corporation it is till we make it in life. Whenever this channel, when we reach 100K and we just keep climbing up the spectrum and shit really changes, when I get a new place after that, I'm gonna tell y'all where I work. But somebody knows. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you if you're right or wrong, but when we make it in life, I'm gonna let y'all know the whole backstory on this shit. Because basically, I'm just watching a movie. But all in all, the things that we are being reassigned to, it already happened. Think of life is like a game that you are. Have you ever played a single player game or a multiplayer game? Let's say Call of Duty, for example, or it can be any game, doesn't matter what you play. Skyrim, Sims, cool. You play single player. You got multiplayer if you choose to, but you play single player. You play single player for the time being, and then you get bored. Pause it, you make sure it'll auto save, but I override the save and I just make sure, because I don't want to cut the game off and then I gotta start all the way over. That'll drive me insane. You save the game. Weeks, months go by, you go back to that game, you're like, oh, I'm back on this level again. But think about from that week, that month, all that you have done for yourself and where you are mentally to where, excuse me, damn, confirmation. But when you're playing this game and you're retracing all that you went through, think about that alignment now. That's basically what you're doing. You put the game on pause. You go back to observing different realities that you can still play with, because you're playing with all timelines intuitively on infinite spectrums that have no linear time to think about. And so when you put more time into yourself, you become a bigger investment. You become more valuable to yourself, to where people will see you as worthy. There'll be some people in this world who, if you're doing what you got to do and somebody sees that you're outworking them, they will pay you just because you're doing better than them. And that's really weird to me, but I mean, these things have happened. There are some people who will want to pay you just because you're doing better. You're doing the best that you can, and if you look good doing that with no excuses, people they'll take the clothes off their back for you. Remember, you're the child of prophecy, and you are prophetic. Everything that you do should be a prophecy. You don't have to call yourself a prophet, but treat your life like that. Treat your life treat your life to where no matter what, 5 minutes from now, you may not make it. An hour, you may not make it. 10 hours from now, you may not make it. You have to live every day as if you never know when you'll go out. There's somebody right now who died in a car crash or had a heart attack, got cancer, got shot, got kidnapped, got slaughtered. There's so many different shits that I don't want to go deep into because we're not making that video for right now. But just on the surface level of things with, you know, conscious interpretations going on. But is that all we got, Spirit? Yeah, right now I'm just reflecting. You know, I'm on a highway that's driving and I'm just thinking about life. But overall, I just want to say to all the new people who have made it to this channel, thank you. And understand, if you don't know who I am, my name is Darius and I do go by Divine. Well, I play the role of a divine messenger and I play the role of Darius, but I'm just a past memory that's currently experiencing the future. That's all I can think about. And I'm just so thankful for the consistent viewers who comment under my videos. Like, and the thing is too, shout out to the people who constantly comment under my stuff. Mookie Yami, shout out to you. Shout out to Omnis. Shout out to Miss Ariel Carter. I see your name a lot. I mean, if I haven't called your name as well, you know, just know I appreciate you because I see. And shout out to Jordan, because I know you watch as well. Shout out to Rain. Shout out to Skull and Gate always, man. Just shout out to the new viewers as well who are here. And to the people who are older than me, thank you for, and younger than me, thank you for your thoughts. Because I'm pretty sure there's somebody thinking, you know, I can't wait for him to post today because I just want to see what his thoughts are like. I mean, thank you for giving me the motivation, because if you really think about it, I don't make these videos for me. I mean, yeah, they are for me, but realistically, I enjoy making these videos for you all because your comments keep me going. Because I understand that I'm really not talking to myself, and somebody really sits there for 27 minutes and they're listening to the video. That just goes to show that what I'm doing is righteous, and I do not have a hating bone in my body, and you all see that. That's exactly why I don't really get hate on social media, and if I do, oh, you know, we checking that shit instantly, because why are you coming for me? But overall, thank you all, and the thing is too, Celestial Rising, Divine to Noon, and Grand Night to the beautiful Divine Mirage watching this mindful message. It's your Divine Reflection, Divine Messenger, and we are back with another Celestial Observation. Thank you all for another great video. I appreciate y'all. I'm gone.